Gupta, you're from Bihar
Yes, sir.
and you studied law at Calcutta.
Yes, sir.
When did you complete your course at Calcutta?
Sir, in 2022.
Uh, that's supposed to be a premier school for law.
Yes, sir.
So, what are you doing now after that?
Sir, I joined a law firm called Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas back in 2022 for 5 months. And thereafter, I left the law firm in December 2022 to prepare for civil services.
Why did you leave the law firm? What is the problem?
Sir, I always wanted to join the civil services. Basically, it stems from two primary reasons. One is professional goals, as well as secondly, personal goals. Professional goals means that civil services at a very young age offers wide variety of roles, leadership position, and hence this service attracted me. Regarding my personal goals, sir, through my various action and holding the position of responsibility in schools as well as in the colleges, I saw a positive ramifications in the lives of the people. And this I want to replicate in the civil services for the larger public good.
I believe you're interested in arbitration and dispute resolution.
Yes, sir.
Where does India stand in the field of arbitration, internationally speaking?
Yes, sir. So right now, India is a developing country in terms of arbitration. There are several regulations in the recent times, as well as amendment, which is increasing the scope of arbitration, such as the recent 2024 amendment, recognizing the third party emergency provisions for arbitration, or reducing the timeline regarding arbitral procedures. However, there are several lacunas which India needs to fill in. And based on the Singapore model, India can replicate that to make India as an arbitration hub of the world.
So, do you think India can substitute for Singapore or supplement Singapore?
Sir, I believe it can supplement Singapore because Singapore, as of now, is already advanced through its international arbitration hub as well as their local regulatory regime regarding arbitration. However, in the longer term, I believe that India may substitute Singapore.
See, the Ukraine problem seems to have got into a kind of a difficult knot which cannot be unraveled that easily.
Yes, sir.
Now, the US is thinking of stopping military aid.
Yes, sir.
What do you think will happen in such a situation?
So in the shorter run, Ukraine might face military shortages, and in the longer run, it might lead to peaceful resolution of disputes because thereafter, with a limited support from the European nations, Ukraine might not able to prolong the war. However, for the peaceful resolution at the broader level, dialogue and diplomacy is the only way ahead, wherein every stakeholder, namely USA, Russia, Ukraine, as well as European Union, should sit together and solve the dispute in the amicable manner.
So, in this context, what is the proposal of the French presidency?
Sir, French president is rallying support of the European Union to support Ukraine military shortages as well as other aids financially as well as military, which he resolved to support for Ukraine. Secondly, for a long-term peace agenda, he is also invoking the European Union as well as Russia to sit on a table so that a peaceful resolution of this dispute can occur.
Is Russia opposed to Ukraine joining the European Union?
Sir, I believe Russia is not opposing, but Russia is quite apprehensive of NATO alliance, and it's increasing NATO alliance towards the eastwards, towards the Russia. As of now, I believe Russia is not opposing, but however, I'll have to recheck on my fact.
Good morning, Sumit. How are you?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm good.
Talking about Ukraine, Russia, and the whole, what's happening, President Trump's approach, and Russia feeling very happy with the way things are evolving.
Yes,
Where,
ma'am.
what do you see in the future? What do you see? What is the future of this? Where are we going? Where are we headed? Where is the world headed?
Ma'am, in the shorter run, world might be witnessing long-term dispute as well as continuation of the war. However, in the longer duration of time, uh, as said previously, I believe dialogue and diplomacy is the way ahead, and maybe other European Union nations, as well as Ukraine and Russia, may sit on a table for a peaceful resolution of the dispute.
Do you think President Trump is going to accept the European proposal?
Ma'am, in the recent dialogues and the recent showdown as well as fallout between President Trump as well as President Zelensky, we can see that Trump might not agree to the resolution given by European Union. However, I believe dialogue and diplomacy and as well as push should be there from Ukraine as well as European Union for the resolution of the dispute, as well as status quo can be maintained so that proper ceasefire as well as loss of lives can be reduced.
One point here, when you said dialogue and diplomacy, but that's all. It is important. But what about the land that has been occupied by Russia? The land, Ukraine's land. They have a huge chunk of it under their control. So, do you think President Zelensky or Ukraine will agree to this to giving up so much of their land to Russia? That seems to be the only one of the major areas of conflict.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we also need to understand about the peculiar situation of the world where it is being headed. Secondly, in the in the realm of international law, we also need to understand about the pragmatism and the realism. As of now, I believe Ukraine does not hold any card to get back its own territory, which has been occupied in the Russia. However, de-escalation can be the way ahead in which both party, Ukraine as well as Russia, can de-escalate the situation and maybe grant autonomous status to the already occupied territory by Russia.
You think they will agree? Will Russia agree to allow an autonomous region in the middle, and it becomes part of NATO? It's very difficult. Or if it doesn't become part of NATO, then they have all the peacekeepers from Europe. You think Russia will agree to that?
Ma'am, for the larger peaceful goals, both the parties should come together, and maybe peacekeeping force from both the nations can come together to maintain autonomous region. Russia, while it may not agree in the shorter run, but in the longer run, it may agree if there would be security guarantee regarding the expansion of the NATO towards eastward expansion. Yes, ma'am. And secondly, if there would be security guarantee both from Russia as well as Ukraine, then Russia might agree to this.
Okay, let's wait and watch. It's good to be optimistic, and we all should be optimistic, but let's see how it goes.
Yes,
you were in West Bengal, Kolkata.
yes, ma'am.
This huge influx over the years from Bangladesh coming in and settling in and around various cities in West Bengal.
Yes, ma'am. West Bengal faces a few problems regarding huge immigration from Bangladesh, largely due to unchecked borders as well as porous border between India and Bangladesh.
And now, what is the status of our relationship? Earlier, we were not so strict, but now what should we do? You think we are sending some illegal immigrants back, but overall, how do you see the Bangladesh-India relationship in the context of the overthrow of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina?
Ma'am, there might be some issues regarding sending back of illegal immigrants to Bangladesh. However, ma'am, India not only engaged with Sheikh Hasina government, but also engaged with the civic society of Bangladesh, bureaucrats, civil servants, and the leaders from the opposition parties as well, who are ruling. So, ma'am, in the longer run, I believe Indian diplomats would be able to traverse their path in a more peaceful manner. And this transition may help India to develop more uh, better relationship with Bangladesh.
You just mentioned the Sheikh Hasina government, but there is no Sheikh Hasina government in Bangladesh at the moment.
Yes, ma'am. As of now, there is no Sheikh Hasina government, but even uh, Professor Yunus government is also cooperating with India regarding sharing of data as well as protecting India's investments in Bangladesh. So,
No, everything is on hold. From what I read in the papers, everything is on hold at the. I mean, almost on hold.
yes, ma'am.
So,
Ma'am, I believe India is doing a back channel diplomacy here, wherein maybe dialogues and deliberations are taking place at the closed door. And once the relationship will become full-fledged, then maybe news of back channel diplomacy will start coming out in the public.
do you think elections are necessary for that, or no?
Yes, ma'am. I believe for a peaceful transition and for the continuation of democracy, elections are of utmost importance.
And after the new government, whoever comes, will they? You think the way the things are developing, they're saying Awami League can't come into power, they can't contest elections. So we don't know who will come into power, because right now the opposition and all the student are very anti-India. Student
Yes,
leaders,
ma'am.
so-called student leaders. So
Yes.
I think if after elections there might be some improvement in the overall relationship, or it'll continue as it is. And why?
Uh, Ma'am, first of all, there might be some apprehensions regarding recent anti-India campaigns as well as China's influence in Bangladesh. However, ma'am, in the longer run, I believe that our diplomacy have been time tested, and it has withstand any kind of calamity regarding political upheaval in our neighboring countries. So, in the longer run, after democratic elections will take place, I believe our diplomats would be able to traverse the path peacefully as well as diplomatically to maintain a very good relationship with Bangladesh.
And last question related to your interest in badminton.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the size of a badminton court?
Ma'am, I believe it is 3 meter width and 9 meter of length. But I'll have to recheck on this fact, ma'am.
I think it's a little more than that. But anyway, you need to just do that, because you've written badminton so many times. I think so. You really need to be very sure about various aspects of badminton. Name one very
Yes,
good
ma'am.
player in India. One
Ma'am,
male,
there are several players.
one male, one female.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we have retired a professional named Pulela Gopichan, and for female, it is PV Sindhu.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, Sumit. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing good.
Sumit, there are lots of seats which are vacant in judiciary.
Yes, sir.
So instead of going for a judiciary because you're coming from a law background, you're opting for civil services. Why so?
Sir, I see civil services as an extension of the law and order situation. And through my experiences in the college, having understood the interface of law and society, I believe I would be in a better position to implement law and order as well as formulate policies by joining the civil services. While judiciary also serves in the nation building, but in judiciary, there is lack of field role, which where my passion lies. So that I want to do by joining the civil services.
Okay. What challenges do you face are there in India regarding the implementation of law? Any three important challenges?
Sir, the first challenge is the information asymmetry regarding the understanding of law by the common people and the complex uses of word in the statute. Secondly, sir, I believe we are running short of capacity building, manpower for the implementation of law. Thirdly, sir, I believe there are new kinds of crimes which are developing nowadays, such as cybersecurity crimes, data privacy concerns, etc. So this also impedes the implementation of law at the broader level.
Don't you think corruption is also there?
Yes, sir. Corruption is one of the problem which hampers the implementation of law at the grassroots level.
Okay, okay. There is, if I ask the difference you feel between the power and the authority, what is that?
That power is something which is granted to an individual to influence the behavior of others. And I believe with greater power comes greater responsibility. In terms of authority, I believe the statute or several law gives power to that individual to exercise authority over several people or over an area. And I believe authority is more responsible as compared to power, because power can be derived from illegal manner as well. However, authority is only granted through law or statute.
Suppose if I give you one idea to evaluate,
Yes, sir.
can you evaluate one nation, one police idea, pros and cons? Two pros, two cons.
Yes, sir. Sir, one nation and one police can be a very good idea regarding because it will bring uniformity in the services as well as transfer of any amount of data regarding criminal background, etc., from one jurisdiction to another. Secondly, in terms of even zero FIR or other procedural issue also, one nation, one police would help to implement laws effectively. So regarding talking about concern, the first concern I believe would be the uniformity as well as a nuance of regionalism, which might not feature in terms of one nation, one police. Secondly, there might be language barrier to implement laws, to tell about laws to the local people.
If I ask your opinion about this, are you in favor or in against?
Sir, in the longer horizon of time, I believe there can be piecemeal approach for one nation, one police, wherein every stakeholder, for example, central government, government, state party leaders, regional government can come together and may implement it on a pilot basis. And then based on the data as well as empirical evidence, it can be implemented in the whole country.
Okay. There is currently a debate regarding the misuse of Section 69A of IT Act.
Yes, sir.
What is that debate going on?
Sir, if I may
Let
seek
me,
an clarification
okay.
regarding
Let me
69A.
tell you regarding the making of political cartoons, and government is taking some actions about it.
Yes, sir. All right, sir. Sir, Section 69A of the IT Act gives the government power to regulate actions of several individuals on the online platforms. And hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
You're listening. You're audible.
sir.
Please, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, it may have a chilling effect on the individual's freedom of speech and expression under Article 19, Clause 1. Secondly, it may also hamper any kind of dissent which might arise against the government of the day. So these two are the primary concern which I can think of right now.
Do you think is it valid to curb the highest expression of, especially of the political view, is the basis of putting censorship on the content on the basis of expressing the political view is valid ground of the government?
But I believe if I have to go by restrictions provided under Article 19, Clause 2 of the Constitution, then it clearly delineates the objective parameters on which censorship can be granted. And based on those parameters, if those kind of censorship is allowed, then I believe it is perfectly valid for a government regarding any miscreants which may affect the integrity, sovereignty, as well as other requirements which are there.
Okay. There was budget currently in the news. So
Yes, sir.
what is the status of gender budgeting? Is it increased, decreased, or what is the percentage?
Sir, while I'm not aware regarding the exact percentage of the gender budgeting, however, in the recent times, we have been witnessing an increase in the gender budgeting. And
Okay.
this has also been supplemented through several welfare measures.
Okay. Can you tell me the revised MSME limits, especially during this budget?
Yes, sir. Sir, I believe it is 2.5 crore for micro and 2.5 crore profit and 10 crore turnover.
Is
I'll have to,
profit
sir.
is
I'll
profit
have
is the basis? Is profit is the basis of classification?
Sir, I believe there are two classifications, namely turnover and one I'm unable to recall right now, sir.
Second one is investment, not profit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. One more thing I want to ask: who is your role model in your life, and why?
Sir, while there are several role models in my life which has influenced, who have influenced me positively, I remember my school headmaster, namely Lieutenant Colonel M.K. Lenka, sir, who influenced me positively during my stay in Sainik School.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You talked about your stay in Sainik School.
Yes, sir.
Do you think we should have more Sainik schools in the country?
Yes, sir. I believe we should be having more Sainik school. And in the recent times, the government has been floating an idea of public-private partnership investment of opening up of approximately 100 Sainik schools across India.
And what about military conscription?
Military constructions.
Conscription. Conscription. Making it compulsory for you to serve in the army.
Sir, I believe it should not be mandatory. Rather, it should be based on the voluntary basis. And in the recent times, we have seen how the government has come up with several policies such as Agniveer in order to tap the potential of the youth towards the army. So that way we can go ahead. However, I believe making it mandatory might go against mandatory might go against individuals' choice and expressions.
Now, you see, when Holi is coming, and
Yes, sir.
there is a request that
Yes, sir.
Muslim traders should not be allowed to participate in selling holy colors and sweets. What is your view on that?
Sir, I believe it has been done to curb down any kind of miscreants or mixing any kind of obnoxious materials in the holy colors. However, I believe that right to profession is also one of the fundamental right, and there should not be any kind of blanket ban. Rather, there should be regulations, and those indulging in any kind of illegal activities should be penalized, should be regulated, and should be stopped. However, a blanket ban might not be recommended in these kind of situations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I found it to be very good, very pleasant.
Yes.
Nice to interact with.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
well presented, dignified appearance. Composure was very good all through. There are a few points on which you may like to pay some attention.
Yes, sir.
Firstly, I think you should not give wrong facts. It's very important. If you're not sure about the answer, you may take a guess with permission from the chair or from the interviewing member.
Yes, sir.
Like I asked you about President Macron's proposal.
Yes, sir.
He's actually proposed a 1-month ceasefire.
Yes,
You
sir.
didn't mention that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's one thing. Secondly, I found that your clarity is important. Certain points. Now, when he talked about Muslim traders,
Yes, sir.
I specifically said there's a request.
Yes, sir.
And you said there should not be a blanket ban. And you said there should be better regulation.
Yes, sir.
That's fine. But I think what's important, you can't discriminate on the basis of religion.
Yes, sir.
I think you said that very clearly, that everybody has a right. But the point is, how do you make sure that people get the right colors and the right sheets? So there has to be better quality control.
Yes, sir.
Or there has to be a kind of a wholesale distribution from a centralized point. Somebody has to purchase good colors
Yes, sir.
and supply to the various retail vendors. The quality can then be checked better.
Yes, sir.
So some kind of an imaginative idea has to come.
Yes, sir. Sir, you are not audible again.
Is it
Yes, sir.
audible?
Yes,
See,
sir.
the question is, so
Sorry, sir. Again, I think there is some network problem. Hello.
hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Now you are
So
audible.
since you're a student of law,
Yes, sir.
this question might come again. So why are you interested in joining civil services? I had put that question to you. I think Mr. Kapoor had also put that question to you.
Yes, sir.
The answer should be crystallized and clear. So work
Yes,
out
sir.
a good answer.
Yes, sir.
The answer was almost there, but not complete.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Manjuji.
Sumit,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll add 1 or 2 points to this, that you need to have a little more expression. Often on you are giving some expression, otherwise, but you're looking absolutely, with a little worry in your eyes and serious expression. Avoid that. And
Yes, ma'am.
no guessing at all. And be
Yes,
aware
ma'am.
of what you're saying. You just said Sheikh Hasina government. No, don't come up. You have to be careful what you're saying. All right, don't
Yes,
just
ma'am.
she's not yet in power anymore. And
Yes, ma'am.
as Sir has also said, where will the questions come from DAF, from international affairs, current affairs, and what you've done, your subject.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So overall, very good, but just give a little, emphasis on this. You've got time, 16th April. You have some
Yes, ma'am.
prepared. Make yourself even better. You're good already.
Yes, ma'am.
Even do better. So just practice and get your thoughts together a little more. Off and on, you were, fumbling a little bit. So avoid that.
Yes, ma'am.
Overall, all the best. You'll do well.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, I just want to add 2, 3 more points. As just sir has told that reason for joining the civil services. This was your answer was almost there. You can add few more things like when I see the conviction rate is very low. When I see people sometimes can't even approach to the judiciary because the cost of getting justice is very high in India, keeping the downtrodden people into the consideration, something like that. It will add to your answer and it will be a very good expression of that idea. Second thing,
Yes, sir.
uh, when I asked about the like power and authority, so uh, I think you were giving a wild guess that time. So if you don't get the exact difference, you can, before guessing, you must ask first, shall I guess it or not? If person allows you to tell, only then you can basically tell, because you can simply told that power is ability to influence, but authority is a right to take decision. This right can be given from the constitution or from statute or from any other thing. It could have been a
Yes, sir.
very simple answer. So I think you should avoid guessing the answer without giving. And and when I was asking about the idea of evaluating like one nation police, so you were saying that idea is good, sir. Then you were actually telling me the positives and negatives of that. So instead of that, instead of saying the idea is good or idea is bad, I think you should stay neutral and you can just tell the pros and cons instead of going with it. At the end, I'd ask what is the opinion about it. And last thing is you must learn about the facts of the budget, because I think you have not studied the budget right now, because
Yes, sir.
the gender budgeting part was missing, MSME current limits you don't know, even the classification was confusing. So the
Yes, sir.
kind request is to basically learn basically first to study and then learn the facts of the budget, so that you can basically answer them. Otherwise your interview was good, you're a good candidate. When is your interview?
So it is on 16th of
16th,
April.
April, 16th April.
You have sufficient time, you have good time with you, you can basically do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
sir.
just want to add to what Mr. Kapoor was saying. I fully agree
Yes,
with him on this point about one nation, one nation, one police. I
yes,
think
sir.
you should have simply said at the end that we should go by what the Constitution has
Exactly.
provided. That's very important.
Yes, sir.
Constitution clearly says police is a state subject.
Yes, sir.
And you're a student of law.
Yes, sir.
So it's important for you to underline that point. You cannot have one nation, one police.
Yes, sir.
Can there be a policeman from Bengal being transferred to Tamil Nadu? Will he be able to work?
No, sir. He'll face various challenges.
That's the problem. He won't know the language.
Yes, sir.
So that's the problem. So
Yes, sir.
police is always under the state.
Yes,
It's
sir.
not under the central.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I mean that point is we should have come on. Anyway.
Yes, sir.
But overall I found the interview very good.
Yes, sir.
Anything
Thank you,
you'd
sir.
like to ask us?
Yes, sir. I have one question regarding my DAF. So, sir, in my DAF, I have put in UP as my first preference for IAS and Bihar as my first preference for IPS. Now, reason being, sir, in the last 5 to 6 years, there have been approximately no vacancy uh, for undeserved insider general students for IAS, whereas for IPS, there was several vacancies. And based on empirical data only, I arrived at that conclusion and then filled the form. So what should be my response that what's the reason? Can I tell the board directly that and honestly that this was the flat reason for putting UP as my first preference, or should I mean, maybe like explore some other ideas as well?
No, I think what you said is quite correct.
Yes, sir.
You can mention that. It's a matter of
Because sir,
fact.
yes, sir, in one of my mocks, the panelists told me that you are very irresponsible of putting UP and then defending with this kind of argument. So I got a bit confused regarding the same.
No, see, the point is, if you are asking for a state for motives which are not honorable, then it's wrong.
Yes, sir.
Here you are stating a fact
Yes, sir.
that Bihar didn't have any insider quota.
Yes, sir.
So naturally you have to opt for some other state,
Yes, sir.
isn't it?
Yes, sir. That was the sole reason for this.
That's all. So I mean that's a statement of fact.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing wrong.
Sir, then I should be keeping this response for my main interview as well.
There's nothing wrong at all.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Normally, the UPSC does not ask you about your preferences.
Yes, sir.
So you shouldn't worry about it. But
Yes,
if you're asked, you can definitely say there are no insider vacancies in Bihar.
Yes, sir.
It appears
Yes, sir.
so, based on the
Yes,
last
sir.
few years. And that's
Yes,
the
sir.
reason I opted for UP.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.